Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. For the second video ever on the channel, I'm going to be reviewing the MacBook Pro 13-inch. The laptop I've been using since pretty much February, and this thing has been awesome so far, so let's jump right in with the tech specs. I have not memorized these, so we're going to start with reading them off my iPhone. We have a 13-inch display, LED backlit IPS panel, 2560 by 1600 native resolution, that's 227 pixels per inch. It's a 500 nit peak brightness display, 8-core CPU with 4 performance cores and 4 energy efficient cores, an 8-core GPU, a 16-core neural engine. It can support one external display up to 6K resolution at 60 Hz. This also has Bluetooth 5.0. It has Touch ID, insane battery life. The height on this thing is about 0.61 inches thick. The width is about 11.97 inches and it's about 8.36 inches deep with a weight of around 3 pounds. In the box, you're gonna get a 13-inch MacBook Pro. You're gonna get the 61 watt-hour USB-C adapter, and then you're gonna get a 2-meter USB C-to-C. The model I have here today is the 16GB of RAM model with 1TB of storage, powered by the M1 chip. I've been using this thing, like I said, since February. Since February, this thing has been a beast when it comes to battery power. So, talking about battery power, if you're only doing web browsing, watching some YouTube videos and stuff like that, if you're watching, say, 3-4 hours a day of YouTube on it, which would be quite a bit, you're gonna see like 5 to 6 days of battery life out of this thing. No questions, no problems, nothing. It's gonna keep going. You won't need the charger. If you're someone like me who uses it more intensive for video and photo editing, I'm seeing around, a day to 2 days. If I'm doing a lot of video editing and photo editing, then I'm probably charging daily, but wouldn't need the charger during that day. I do keep it with me just in case, because you never know if you accidentally leave a program running or something. If you're like me and you are a power user, and you are someone who's going to go through that battery faster, one of the other things you should know about this MacBook, probably the only downside as of right now, is the M1 chip when transferring files and running a program also seems to struggle quite a bit. I have had the fan kick on multiple times and it gets very hot, which any computer would do, but I have noticed it struggles playing back video while editing if you're transferring files at the same time. So just keep that in mind. If you're only doing one thing at a time, the M1 chip does great. If you're doing video editing plus, some web browsing for music, and going through your files but not transferring files, it seems to do just great and works amazing. It is not the best chip I've ever seen on a laptop, but it is quite great, especially at the price point of this MacBook Pro. I think for mine it was around $1,500, and for that price there's not a laptop that's going to beat this thing for all-around performance and battery life. You're just not going to get it. It's a relatively small battery in here. I think it's like a 56 watt-hour battery or 58. It is not a large battery by any means, and it's amazing. Second thing I want to touch on is the keyboard on this. I didn't know if I would like Apple keyboards because I've never actually owned like an Apple MacBook or anything. I've only had iPads and iPhones, and the keyboard on this is not super bad. I actually quite enjoy it, and it's relatively easy to type on and get used to. I still prefer a mechanical keyboard, a desktop mechanical keyboard, but as far as a laptop keyboard goes, this isn't bad at all. The only thing that I have problems with on this is the touch bar. And the touch bar itself is not bad to interact with or anything, but it does kind of suck in terms of like, if there was buttons there, I don't know if it'd make that much a difference to me, whether or not it had buttons there or not. It works just fine. The buttons versus the touch bar, it's not that game changing for me. Last but not least, one of the other big things for me is that Touch ID. Now, most of the time I'm using this laptop, I don't use the Touch ID. I actually have it set so my Apple Watch unlocks it. Every once in a while I use Touch ID for making payments and stuff like that, and that's great. The only thing that's this is nitpicky, but I wish it had Face ID instead of Touch ID, especially after watching at the Apple event where he opens the MacBook and it turns on and it's like setting up or getting going right away from even a powered down state, which it does not just out of the box, but it'd be almost cooler if when it did that it also did Face ID as it was opening, and I just skip all that steps, especially with how big the bezels are on this display. They could have probably you could almost probably fit a 15-inch in this space if they shrunk those bezels quite a bit. And that's not completely necessary to do, but it is something that they could do in the future that would just make it a better experience. And that would probably upgrade the webcam and get some better webcam stuff, especially in today's world of using webcams a lot. So for someone like me, when it comes to using the MacBook Pro for creative related tasks, and I'm talking about the M1 chip specifically here, it's been kind of hit or miss on how great it is for it. It's just as competitive as a laptop at this price point would be, probably better. I don't get to use a ton of laptops, but it's probably better. It does great for photo editing, and I have no problems with that. It's fast. I don't have to wait for it to like process what I wanted. When it comes to videos, playback is great. Render times take quite a bit, but they're not horrible. If you just, this is my main device now, my only device I use when it comes to video editing and photo editing. I don't have a desktop or anything anymore, so that should say something for how well this M1 chip works. But it does take a little bit longer for render times and stuff like that. Maybe with the M2 or the M1X, whatever they're gonna call it, the new chip with a few more cores and stuff like that, we could really see some major improvements here. If you are somebody that does do creative tasks, then I would go out of your way to get the MacBook Pro, not the Air. The Air is fine for everyone else, and I wouldn't bother spending the extra on the Pro. But if you're like me and you're doing stuff that's creative, transferring a lot of files, that fan will kick on, and it is worth just spending the extra. It's like $100 more, and you might as well do it to get the extra performance and just keep it a little bit cooler, extend the life of the product maybe a little bit for somebody who's using it as an intensive daily driver device like that. If you're not using it as a daily driver device like that for creative work, and all you're doing is web browsing and stuff like that, and you always used to buy the Pro because the Pro was better for screen, everything else, that's not the same here. So then the Air is for you, but the Pro is definitely for the people that are doing a lot of file transfers, a lot of video editing, a lot of photo editing, and just need something that's gonna stay running as fast as it can, as long as it can. And that's where the M1 MacBook Pro comes in versus the Air. That's the only difference, and it's not that big of a difference. So if you need to save the cash, then save the cash. You won't notice too much of a hit. So those are my thoughts on the M1 MacBook Pro 13-inch. Thanks for watching. Subscribe for more. There will be more content. I'm gonna try and upload daily. So if you saw my first video and saw that it got a lot of views but not a lot of subscribers, then tell people to subscribe, tell your friends to subscribe. I'm trying to grow a channel here, not just a view count. So with that said, stay tuned for the next one. Peace.